Farmer dug for water, but what he discovered shocked everyone. Eli Carter's farm had been bone dry for years. His crops were failing, and the last well had dried up. With nothing left to lose, he rented a drilling rig and began digging for water. For 2 days, the drill bit hit nothing but rock. On the 3rd day, the sound changed. It was hollow. When they pulled the rig up, the bit was covered in strange, reddish dust. Curious, Eli dug further by hand. Just a few feet down, he hit something solid. It wasn't stone. It was smooth, metallic, and covered in dirt. As he cleared more away, the outline of a massive circular hatch came into view, bolted shut and hidden for decades. There were no markings, no numbers, just a heavy lock in the center. When he opened it, he was shocked. Eli stood at the edge of the open hatch, looking down into the darkness. A rush of cold, stale air came up, carrying the smell of metal and dust. He hesitated, but his curiosity was stronger than his fear. He grabbed a flashlight and slowly climbed down the metal ladder. The rungs were cold and his boots echoed on the way down. When he reached the bottom, he found himself in a small concrete room. The walls were lined with shelves. Old boxes, dusty cans, and glass jars were stacked neatly as if someone had planned to come back. On one side of the room was a long wooden table. Papers, tools, and a rusty lantern were still sitting there. Eli picked up a notebook lying open on the table. The handwriting was shaky but readable. It was a journal. The first page stopped him cold. It was written by the man who had owned Eli's land decades ago. The entry was dated during the war. The words explained that the bunker was built in case the fighting reached their town. The owner had stocked it with food, water, and supplies to keep his family safe. Eli looked around. It wasn't just a shelter. It was a full survival room. There were crates marked with dates, all from that time. He opened one and found old military rations still sealed. In another box, he saw medical kits, blankets, and candles. Against the back wall, a faded flag was pinned up. Next to it was an old radio. It was covered in dust, but the dials were still intact. Beside the radio was a small box of letters. Most were written to someone named Margaret, talking about the fear of the war and the hope to return to normal life. Eli carefully packed the letters back. It felt like stepping into someone's life, frozen in time. Before leaving, he noticed a small door at the far end of the bunker. It wasn't locked, just heavy. He pulled it open and found another small room filled with more supplies. Hanging on the wall was a calendar, still turned to the month the war ended. Eli climbed back to the surface, still holding the journal. His mind was full of questions. The bunker wasn't just an old shelter, it was a piece of history. The old owner had built it in fear, but it had stayed hidden for decades. Now the whole town would know what lay beneath his farm.